Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. Today we're going to be looking and continuing our discussion about functions in JavaScript. Let's get started. So to start off today, we're going to be talking about arrow functions. Now JavaScript has another syntax for defining functions called arrow function expressions, or just arrow functions. Now, an arrow function is a more compact version of a function expression, and in most cases, it's the choice between the two is very much just a stylistic choice. So you can use an arrow function anywhere a normal function expression would work and save yourself a bit of typing in the process. So let's actually take a look at an arrow expression. So we can do let add here and equal to, and again we have our a, b, and we have create up an arrow here. This looks like the equal and with a greater sign. Return a plus b. So, and again, notice this is a much more compact syntax than what we had before. Now, an arrow function doesn't use the function keyword. Instead, it begins with the argument list, and in this case, it's a and b, followed by an arrow, such as here, and the function body, where we're assigning the arrow function to the add variable, which lets us call it just like other functions. So we can do add 2 and 3. Okay, now we've defined add by using this block body syntax, where the body is replaced between braces, and each statement within the body is written on its own indented line. Now, if the body consists of just a single statement, however, there's an even simpler syntax, and that's even more concise. So we can do let add concise is equal to a b a plus b. Notice this is extremely concise, okay, compared to utilizing the bracket notation as well and with the return statement. So here the body is written on the same line as the rest of the statement, and it is not surrounded by brackets or by braces. And the return keyword is implied, meaning that the expression in this instance is just the a plus b, is automatically understood to be the return value. So this concise body syntax is great for writing simple functions, but if your function body involves multiple statements, you'll have to use these block syntax like we have up here. And again, you'll also have to include the return keyword if the function has an implicit return value. Now, if the arrow function has exactly one parameter, we can further simplify this by omitting the parentheses around the parameter name. So let's say that you want to create up let's say let cubic. Okay, so it can take in x, an arrow, and then it would be x by x by x. Okay, so then we can say cubic of 2 is 8. Okay, now this arrow function takes in a number x and it returns its cubic, so x times x times x. And since x is the function's only parameter, we don't need to put it into parentheses. This works for both a block body and concise body syntax. So just like our function expressions, arrow functions provide an efficient way for us to define functions that are passed as arguments. So we can also use this in our timeout example. So let's do this as something like we'll pass the set interval an arrow function instead. Okay. Now, what is set interval? Well, set interval is like set timeout, and it takes another function and a time in milliseconds as an argument. But unlike set timeout, it repeatedly calls a provided function, waiting for a specified amount of time between each call. So here, let's, for example, we can pass in our set interval in here. And again, notice we'll pass in an arrow function here. But notice it is empty in this instance. And we will console log out hello. And we'll set this to be every 2 seconds. Okay, and hello. Now, look, notice it'll start tracking up and racking up our beeps. Now, our arrow function here takes no arguments. So it begins as an empty set of parentheses here. And again, it will, again, because it's taking no arguments. And then the closing brace here at the end is followed by a comma to separate out the arrow function from the next argument. So in this instance, it'll be 2000. Now, when we execute this code, it's going to return our ID here of 4. And then again, every 2 seconds or so, from the delay, it's going to log a hello. Now, after that, the number here, this number is going to be constantly increasing about every 2 seconds because it has continuously called the console log of hello. Now, Chrome uses a trick to keep, again, from filling up the console window. Again, it has this number here going. Now, the way to stop this is to do clear interval here, and our designation was 4. Okay, and notice here now it will stop. All right, so let's go on to the next thing that we can look at here, and that is utilizing REST parameters. So sometimes you want a function to accept in some variable number of arguments. For example, you want a function to take in someone's information, okay? So maybe their name and maybe their favorite animals. And then you're going to print out a sentence in the end. Now, you don't know ahead of time how many favorite animals an individual is going to have. So you don't want to make up you want to make the function flexible enough to be able to handle how many animals are passed in. Now, in JavaScript, you can do this with a REST parameter. Now, the special type of parameter that is going to collect up a variable number of arguments into an array. Now, the REST parameter works with any style of function definition. So here we're going to create up one utilizing the arrow function that lists out the user's favorite animals. So we'll say let's call them my favorite animals here, and we'll take name, again the individual's name, and we have these 3 dots, and then we'll say favorite animals, and then we will create up our function here and say let animal string is equal to our favorite animals dot join, and we will join these with a comma and a space, and then we will console log out my name is name and my favorite animals are, and then here you can grab in the animal string, and we will close our parentheses, We'll close our square brackets. We'll save that. So now we can do something like my favorite animals. It takes in Bob, and it's going to take in here a bunch of other information. So we'll do pandas, bears, koalas, snakes, and turtles, for example. So notice here, we just threw everything in to a single item. Now, all we're expecting in here is a name and just some other number of parameters, such as favorite animals, and we have these 3 dots. So when we grab this and we run it, notice my name is Bob and my favorite animals are pandas, bears, koalas, snakes, turtles. Great. Now what happens then if we change this up and we made this shorter? Okay, so let's just put in pandas, bears, and fish. Well, notice it works just the same as my favorite animals are pandas, bears, fish. Great. Now this rest parameter looks like an ordinary parameter. Okay, but it's going preceded by these 3 periods, okay, or the 3 dots. Let me pull this up here. Okay, these 3 dots right here. And it always has the last it always needs to be the last parameter listed in the function definition. Now, when the function is called, any regular parameters listed first are going to match the first provided argument. So that's going to be name. So here is Bob. Okay. Now, then the rest of the parameters are bundled up to the remaining argument into an array. So it actually is going to create up an array inside here. And so we could potentially even change this up so that we can see that. So let's clean this up. Let's pull back up our function in here and let's do, whoops, let is equal to, I don't even think we need to do that. Yeah, let's store it in there so that we can call it differently. We'll do animal array is equal to our fave animals. And let's go on and actually do something like console log animal array, or any array in this instance, so we can actually see those. And we'll go on and rerun this. And so notice here you see we have Bob, we have pandas, bears, fish, and notice here that we print from our console log here, we see that we have a array of 3 animals, and then we also have then our sentence in here that use the join method on the array. So again, since this animal colors is the rest parameter, again, we can see that we can do this with as many any animals or whatever else that we want. So we can also do this with another example here, utilizing maybe to do just some addition. Okay, so let's set up some function, and again, so let's call this add all. And this is going to take in numbers. Okay, so we'll say let total is equal to 0, and then we'll do for let number of numbers. Here we're using the of for loop, the for of for loop, and we'll do total plus equals number. We'll close off that syntax there, and we will do return total and ending our sum here. So now we can do add all, And we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that gets 15. Okay, we can do add all again, and we'll do 9, 4, 5, 7, 2, 27. Okay, great. So this time we've used a function declaration instead of an arrow function, and the function's only parameter is the rest parameter. Because there are no other parameters, all of the arguments are collected into an array and assigned to the numbers rest parameter, and then we can use the for of loop to add all the numbers together. All right, so that'll be enough for today. I hope you guys like this video. In the next video, we'll talk about higher order functions. If you guys like this video, please comment, subscribe, and hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.